Well, good afternoon. Right now, I am at MMS. Well, they call it CHS, but I still call it MMS in my heart. But it was brought to my attention the other day. The end of this month, it's going to be closing down. I gave 6 years of my life to this warehouse. But I left it 3 years ago to go work for Domino's. But I'm going to do a final walkthrough. We'll start with the door right here. See, it doesn't work anymore, but I used to have a code I would punch up to get in. This right here, is it locked? Yeah, that's the Dwight Schrute conference room. As you can tell, all the shelves that were once stocked to the brim are basically empty. This right here, when I first started, there was a secretary in this office, but corporate decided they didn't need her, which I thought was pretty shitty. But yeah, this was the old secretary's office. This was Eric's office. Of course, he was the area salesperson. This is the central control room, or one of them at least, where we kept all the computers and servers and what have you. Yep, and I used to use this a lot. That right there is where the proof of deliveries were submitted. And of course, this right here was our lunchroom. There used to be two of these, but there's only one. And I used to get my ice out of here for my beer. Still got plenty of that, I see. This right here is where the bathrooms are. I know one of the guys, Richie, was notorious for taking his gross dumps in there. That's why we started calling him Darshitius. Kind of filming right now. Filming my last minute walkthrough.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of want to remember it. And this right here was the shipping area where most of the magic happened. Yeah, I had to mention Darshitius. See, at one point they downgraded our system and switched it out for something archaic, but that's how we used to print our orders. And this right here was a scale where we would weigh our pallets for freight and what have you, and this was our pallet wrapper. This right here are some pallets that are getting ready to be shipped out. But yeah, in the mornings, receiving would be receiving pallets and checking them in, and in the evening, us shippers would be shipping them out. And this is the receiving desk right here, and a little bathroom that I've had a few encounters with and blown up. Now we're going to walk through the bulk aisles. Of course, I'm not going to film every step of the way, only if something that catches the eye pops up, so I'm going to go ahead and pause. Oh, see that up there where it says D4? For a long time, this aisle was missing its aisle ID. So at some point in time, I actually created that myself. Yep. Okay, this back here is the charging station where at the end of the night, we plug up our picker lifts in here to be charged up. Oh snap, it's coming down pretty hard out there. And this one has a story to tell. I've actually made a YouTube video about this one back in 2013 or 14. Now, because I have prior experience even before here operating one of these, I was sent here as a temp through Labor Ready. That's how I started. Before the head boss could come in and assign me something, the receiving supervisor asked me to break down some boxes and run them through, and I did, and it jammed up like it was ready to be dumped out. And because I knew how to do it, I was already doing it. And head boss Jason got here and saw that, and he's like, huh, I see you know how to do this. So that's one ace in the hole right there that helped. And this back here is the FedEx shipping area. And I actually worked back here for about 2 years, maybe 3 years before I moved up to inventory control. But yeah, anything that was being shipped out FedEx came back here, and we didn't have this type of a scale. What we had was just a regular scale that just took weight and nothing more. This thing takes the weight, takes the dimensions of the box and all that other bullshit. This is where we stored stuff that was to be refrigerated. I see they're a little dingy, but I actually put these labels on the cabinets when I was working back here. Like for the filing cabinet that says Jan, Feb, and March was stuff that was processed on those days. And so on and so forth. And this back here is where we stored all of our usable boxes. But of course, I kept a pallet right there with used boxes around here that were still usable to kind of help save the company money. And hey, I actually created this myself, but apparently it was saved and someone else kept it going. But up in there, or you can get in from right there, that's where the AC unit is. Like once a month, I or someone would have to go up in there and change out the filters and then climb up on top of the roof. See that ladder? There's another one on the other side of that wall that takes you to the roof. And this was my picker lift. This is the one I usually used. See the toxic label, it's still there. I used to call this thing toxic. Let's see if it'll crank up for me. It's at 82%. You know what? I'm going to pause this and spin it around once. Okay, yep, and it still rides too. Haven't ridden one of these things in about 3 years. Still know how to do it. This was an additional area where we stored bulk shit. Now, right to where that line is, stuff would usually come out to there, but not the case now. This is just where we kept a bunch of miscellaneous stuff like parking blocks for curbs, light bulbs. Oh, there's a bicycle wheel back there. All right, I'm gonna jump back on this thing and travel some more. Okay, I am now in one of the aisles where we kept loose stuff that wasn't in bulk, and as you can tell, I'm pretty high up right now. Now you see how empty they all are? That didn't used to be the case. Sometimes you'd have stuff, a lot of times actually, would be on the top rack going almost to the roof. All right, now we're gonna lower back down. Now we're gonna go on to my old office. Well, before we actually do go into my office, let's see, I think this is the cleanest I've ever seen this area. There used to be a shelf right there where we had more loose stuff, which was called V. Then this is where we still stored stuff like old pig tickets and what have you. And there used to be a shelf sitting right there. I see they still use this as the charging station for the headsets, and on the other side of that window was my old office. And this was my old office. Yep, I had this office for about 2 years, but my last 2 years of working here. See, they got rid of the printer. Looks like they got rid of the computer tower too. Hey, it's still there. I would have to scan that to log in. No, they didn't get rid of it. The tower's right there. It's just a new one. Is there anything that I recognize still in here? Holy shit! This is mine. I actually left this in here one day and forgot all about it, and it's still there. Come on, buddy. We're gonna go home. What's this? An old packet of mustard. Alcohol pads. You know what? I'll take those. Well, some of the stuff I did is still in there, like these RMAs. Now that, I believe, was there when this was still in my office. Hey, this is still here. Yeah, Jason printed this up because apparently if you look for a flux capacitor on O'Reilly's, they have one listed. And I hung it up on the wall and it's been there since. And this was the Z room, where we kept the loosest of the loosest stuff. This was receiving's filing cabinets. And this was the Z lock. Of course, it was never locked. Gas relief? No, I'm good. I like to fart. And anyone who knows me knows that. And this is where we stored PODs, or proof of deliveries. But to keep myself fit, one thing I used to do, since I did spend a good bit of time sitting at a desk, sometimes I'd actually come into this room and drop and do X amount of push-ups. Like throughout the day, I'd go in and do that. And this right here was the boss's office. Oh, I see he's still got his picture of his daughter's army picture. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and proceed back to the front. Okay, went ahead and put the lift back where I found it. So now I'm going to venture my way back to the front. But first, there's something else I kind of wanted to show you. See this right here? Just thought I'd point out that this thing with the floors was a never-ending deal. It's basically, I guess because these floors, when they originally built this warehouse, it started off as a grocery store, and they anticipated buggies going across it, but not picker lifts. So they'd come across them like a jackhammer, and every so often we'd have to replace sections of the floor. Like, it was a never-ending thing. Just thought I'd bring that up. But I guess this is going to conclude my final walkthrough of what was once the old homestead. But thank y'all for watching, and God bless. Cut.